In the words of the lovable Jim Cramer, there's always a bull market somewhere. And that's certainly true in the junior mining markets, despite how bleak things have appeared so far in 2023. In August, junior investors saw magic with Aston Bay Holdings following some drill core photos being released for their optioned Storm Copper project. Those photos made Aston Bay an overnight success, surging the stock from just 4.5 cents to highs of 34 cents over a handful of trading sessions. The release of assays in September, however, and the announcement of a financing cooled investor interest. And a similar story unfolded for Decade Resources at their Nobody Knows Copper project in BC, albeit not to the same degree, thanks again in part due to a financing, which was announced the day after investors showed a glimmer of interest. We covered both of these stories on this channel back in August. The month of September then belonged to Surge Battery Metals, who saw success at their Nevada North lithium project, ultimately reporting up to 8,000 parts per million lithium in their first hole. However, when their second hole reported intercepts of just 5,800 parts per million, investors dialed back their positive sentiment, and the name hasn't recovered since, instead opting for a slow and painful decline. October, however, has belonged to Hercules Silver, following a major discovery announced on October 10th. Let's dive in. So, who is Hercules Silver? Hercules took on its present form back in 2021, when the company, then known as Bald Eagle, acquired the Hercules Silver project in western Idaho via the purchase of a numbered company for $290,000 in cash and shares. At the time, the property was described as a brownfield land package, consisting of 9 square kilometers of claims within the Cuddy Mountain mining province of west central Idaho. Historical exploration dated as far back as 1965, with a total of 307 drill holes having been conducted on the property before Bald Eagle got its hands on it. In terms of mineralization, the property was said to have silver values in the range of 300 to 950 grams per ton, with mineralization known to cover strike length of 4,800 meters. Management at the time followed the usual junior mining trope of saying the property was underexplored over the last several decades and that it was highly prospective. Months later, the Leviathan property, which was adjacent to Hercules, was acquired for $450,000 in shares and blended into the same property. While the asset expanded the footprint of the Hercules property, what's more significant was the possibility of copper porphyry mineralization on the property. Next came some staked land, followed by a management shakeup and a name change, and today we have the present-day Hercules Silver. Alright, it's the typical junior mining story. It's not that exciting. A piece of real estate in some remote area where a bunch of guys are staring at rock all day. Not exactly the latest thriller. But then the story struck gold, or copper to be exact. As part of a 6,000 meter Phase 2 drill program that the company embarked on in 2023, Hercules elected to conduct several deep holes to test mineralization beyond 300 meters. Investors got a glimpse of those results on September 8th when the company reported that the upper part of hole 2305 hit 84.2 meters of 54.1 grams per ton silver equivalent. The assays for the lower part of the hole, which was indicated to have intersected blind porphyry and copper mineralization, were still pending. Another 4 holes, meanwhile, were suggested to have intersected what amounted to the margins of a large porphyry copper system. Despite the signs, the market had a muted response, with investors actually selling the name down by a half penny to 19.5 cents on the day of the announcement. When the final results for that hole, however, were released on October 10th, the results were a bit different. The equity posted a 26% gain on the day, closing at 31.5 cents after revealing that the lower portion of hole 2305 had intersected 185 meters of 0.84% copper, including a 45 meter section of almost 2% copper. With the hole terminating at 435 meters, yet still showing mineralization, Hercules thinks that mineralization could go considerably deeper. The finding represents a major new copper porphyry discovery, and the discovery was completely blind, with the copper situated well below the silver mineralization that had been defined by over 300 drill holes historically. Just how big the system is currently up in the air. Step-out holes have been drilled to the southeast, which have hit similar mineralization. However, the results of those assays are not yet available. The center of the porphyry, referred to as the potassic center, which often carries out the highest grades within such systems, hasn't even been found yet, and the discovery is said to be open in all directions. The market reaction to the results, meanwhile, can only be described as euphoric. That single hole has done what junior mining investors dream of. It propelled the equity from just 25 cents to a high of $1, a 300% gain in a matter of days if you managed to top ticket. And if you want to get technical, since the first part of the hole was released in early September, it represents a 500% gain from the 20 cents it closed at on September 7th. Plenty of drilling and dollars are needed to prove out the discovery from here, and deep drilling ain't cheap. But in the words of Hercules, hole 2305 also represents the first significant porphyry copper system discovered in the state of Idaho, which breaks the discovery gap between BC and Nevada, presenting an entirely new district for porphyry exploration in a Tier 1 jurisdiction. The geology so far is said to be akin to the Golden Triangle, where some of the largest porphyry copper systems in the world are found, except it's accessible year-round, and the government in Idaho is also considered to be relatively pro-mining. Right now, you're probably thinking, all right, small cap, we get it. It's a big discovery, but you just said it's already a five-bagger for some people, so why should I care? Well, there just might still be some meat on the bone here. I'm not about to give financial advice here, and instead I'm going to defer to Twitter user Silver Santa. Santa here seems to think that there's somewhere in the neighborhood of 100 million ounces of silver equivalent in the ground at Hercules, with the highest grade portions of the property, Hercules Ridge and Grade Creek, not yet drill tested. Based on a valuation of US $1.50 per ounce of silver equivalent, he figures the asset is worth around 150 million US, and that's just for what he refers to as the silver blanket that covers the newly discovered copper porphyry. He thinks that porphyry, based on a single hole, is worth somewhere between 2,000 to 3,000 million, which he says is based on Chris Paul, the CEO of Hercules, recently mentioning that the silver value is only 3% of the total project. Now look, I'm not a geologist and I'm not an analyst for a buy-side fund, but if you're looking for some back-of-the-napkin math, there it is for you. Some general ideas of what people are saying that this project could be worth, and perhaps some of the reasons why the stock has been doing so well. What comes of the Hercules project remains to be seen. The reality is that this run has been based on the results of a single drill hole. Given that it represents a massive new discovery, this time may in fact be different. Or who knows, Hercules could follow the same path as Surge, Aston Bay, Decade, and the other names that came before it. What's important here is the next set of assays, which could confirm a major discovery, or they could just bring more questions with them. But hey, I'm a dreamer. I'm a romantic about small cap stocks, and I like to see magic in the capital markets. So here's hoping that the magic continues to flow for Hercules Silver. All right, everybody, thank you for watching. If you could do me a big favor, please hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Let me know what you think in the comment section. So guys, we just recently launched this channel and we noticed that 99.9% of our viewers are not subscribed. So if you enjoyed this video, we need your help in growing this channel. By subscribing, that would help us keep the lights on and make sure that our crews have jobs in these uncertain times. So please hit that subscribe button, and we promise to make more quality videos that I'm sure you're going to love.